Have you ever seen one of those weird symbols on a chemical container at work and just kind of wondered what it meant? Well, today, we're going to decode a super important safety system that every single worker in Canada really needs to know. It's called WHMS, the Workplace Hazardous Materials Information System.
I bet you've seen these around your workplace, right? They're on all sorts of containers, but they are not just decoration. They're actually critical warnings. Do you have any idea what each one of them means? Don't worry if you don't, because by the end of this quick explainer, you're going to be able to look at them and know exactly what you're dealing with.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the basics, what WHMS even is. Then, we'll get into the three main pillars that hold the whole system up. After that, the fun part, we'll decode all those symbols. Then, we'll talk about who's responsible for what, and finally, we'll wrap it all up with how to actually work safely.
So, what is WHMIS when you boil it all down? It's actually pretty simple. It's your fundamental right to know about the potential dangers you might face on the job. That's it. It's all about giving you the info you need to protect yourself. So yeah, the official name is the Workplace Hazardous Materials Information System. You can just think of it as Canada's national safety language for any hazardous product you could ever come across, whether it's simple cleaning supplies or heavy-duty industrial chemicals. And this is really important. WHMIS isn't some standalone Canadian thing. It's lined up perfectly with something called GHS, the Globally Harmonized System. So what does that mean for you? It means a hazard symbol you see here in Canada means the exact same thing in Germany or in Japan or pretty much anywhere else. It's like a universal translator for safety. So, how does this whole system actually work? Well, it's built on three main components, and we call them the three pillars. When you put them all together, they create this complete safety net for you at work. So what are they? First, you've got the labels on the containers that give you that instant at-a-glance warning. Second, there are the safety data sheets, or SDSs, which give you the full, detailed story. And third, and this is the one that brings it all together, is your education and training. Each one is absolutely crucial. Let's start with pillar number one, the labels. I like to think of these as the headline news for any hazardous product. A supplier label, just like this one you see here, gives you all the critical info you need in a split second. The product name, those hazard symbols, key precautions, and it's all right there on the container. Okay, now for pillar two, the safety data sheet, or SDS. If the label is the headline, then the SDS is the deep dive investigative report. It's this super detailed 16-section document that covers literally everything you could possibly need to know, from first aid measures to what to do in a fire. And the third pillar, and honestly, this is the one that makes the other two actually useful, is your training. This is where it all comes together. It's how you learn to read the labels and understand those big SDS documents. Your employer is legally required to provide this to make sure you have the knowledge you need to work safely. All right, now for what's probably the most recognizable part of WHMIS, the pictograms. These little symbols are designed to be a universal language. They cut right through any confusion to warn you about danger in a single, unmistakable glance. And here they are, the whole crew. Each one of these symbols, inside that distinctive red border, signals a very specific type of hazard. We can basically group them into two big categories. Physical hazards, like things that can catch fire, and health hazards. Let's break them down. First up, let's talk fire. The simple flame symbol is pretty straightforward, right? It means the product itself can catch fire. But that flame over a circle, that one's a little different. That's for oxidizers. The easiest way to think about it is that an oxidizer is like adding pure fuel to a fire. It makes things burn way hotter and way faster. Next, we have things that can go boom. The exploding bomb symbol is for materials that have a serious explosion risk. The gas cylinder symbol is a warning that the container holds gas under high pressure. If that cylinder gets damaged or too hot, it can become a literal projectile. Now, let's get into the serious health hazards. You've got the classic skull and crossbones, which is an urgent warning. This stuff can be fatal or cause really severe toxic effects, even in tiny amounts. Then there's what I call the exploding person symbol. That one warns you about longer-term dangers, like things that can cause cancer or damage your organs over time. And finally, the biohazard symbol is for infectious materials that can make you really sick. And finally, we have hazards that cause more immediate effects. The exclamation mark is kind of a general alert for less severe issues, things like skin irritation or maybe causing dizziness. The corrosion symbol, though, is much more serious. It means a substance can literally eat through your skin, causing nasty chemical burns, and can even dissolve metal. Okay, so we have the labels, we've got the data sheets, but who actually makes sure this all works? Well, WMIS is built on this chain of shared responsibility. It's a team effort that links the supplier, your employer, and you, the worker.
It works just like a relay race. The supplier is the first runner. They classify the product and provide the label and the SDS. Then they pass the baton to your employer, who brings that info into your workplace, makes sure you have access to it, and trains you on it. And then you're the anchor. Your role is to take that training, follow the safe procedures, and, really importantly, speak up if something seems wrong. It's a seamless handover.
All right, we've got the theory down. We understand the system. But how do we actually use this information to make smart, safe decisions every single day? Let's turn all this knowledge into real, practical action. You know, one of the most powerful ideas in all of workplace safety is this: the hierarchy of controls. Look at this pyramid. The best, most effective solutions are always at the top, like getting rid of the hazard completely or swapping it for something safer. All the way down at the bottom, that's where you find things like gloves and goggles, what we call PPE. And it's at the bottom for a reason. It's the least effective control, and it should always be your absolute last resort. So what does this mean for you, right before you start a task with a hazardous product? Here's your personal safety checklist. First, always check for a label. Second, actually read that label and know where to find the SDS. Third, follow the instructions for handling and storing it safely. Fourth, know what to do in an emergency. And finally, and this is maybe the most important step of all, if you are ever unsure about anything, just stop and ask your supervisor. When you boil it all down, the entire system comes back to this one simple idea. Every label, every data sheet, every single training session, it's all designed with one goal in mind: to protect you. It's a system built on your right to know, and it gives you the power to stay safe at work. And that really just leaves us with one final thought. WHMIS guarantees you the right to know about the hazards you're working with. So the real question is, are you using that right? Are you taking that extra second to check the labels? Are you asking where the SDSs are? Your safety at the end of the day is in your hands.